Oh man, who painted these lines on this taxiway? This is interesting. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another one of our quality live streams here. We're going to be flying some military fighters. We're here at Ramat, which is basically in northern Israel. We're just south of the Sea of Galilee. For those of you who like to join us this morning, or at least for me, it's in the morning, you're welcome to come join us. We are on the East USA servers. You're going to have to make sure all players is enabled. And our current location is Lima Romeo Delta. So feel free to kind of pop on there. I'm heading for a runway 26 left right now. It'll take me just a moment to get there. It's kind of an interesting runway on a kind of an interesting runway because where's 26 right? I've never seen it. Got one of those things. So our flight today, of course, we're going to be checking out. This is like a very, very interesting part of the world. A lot of conflict, but also a tremendous amount of really, really cool history that exists. And we have some very cool terrain, too. And I'll go ahead and zip around. The aircraft of choice for me today is the F-16C. Those of you who know me know this is easily one of my favorite aircraft in existence. The F-16, it's amazing. It blows my mind that they designed an airplane that basically was designed to be just cheap whatever, so the F-15 did all the work, and the F-16 was kind of there to kind of help out. And it ended up being this plane that could literally do anything except for go far. It can't do that. We don't really have a lot of fuel. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and stop real quickly here and park right here. I love how this is a military air base, and it's so easy to get going on the runway here. I'm actually going to top us off real fast here because I don't want any surprises. All right, my CFTs were already empty. Oof. It gives you an idea of just how fast this thing goes for fuel. I was just ripping around the pattern a minute ago. Looks like we have a great collection of different aircraft behind us, as will be very entertaining. So what we're going to do is do a low-level heading up to Lebanon there, penetration. We're going to pop over the mountain range, go visit Damascus, get a little bit of altitude, and then we're going to fly kind of our way up north up to Turkey. Along the way, we'll talk a little bit about this aircraft, and as usual, do some pretty dangerous maneuvering here, because why not? All right, so let's get ourselves all lined up. Check out how nice this runway is. Like, it's just a taxiway. You just go and you're just going, just taking the turn. Look at that. There's the runway. Like, isn't that sweet? I'm going to go ahead and line myself up here. This is an F-16. It needs no introduction as far as power goes. We'll go ahead and now tap that gas, and now we will get rolling down this runway here. Now I'm going to save the burner because one thing I don't want to do here is run out of gas before I actually get to my destination. That'd be pretty embarrassing on my part. Get ourselves a nice classic F-16 nose-up attitude here, and we just wait for the plane to go up. I love this little dance. See, in DCS, so when you do that particular maneuver, what happens is the plane goes bounce, 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 bounce all the way down. And you can see this thing just goes. It's so sweet. And we'll go ahead and pass up over the 300 feet there. Just a moment to kind of build up a little tiny bit of altitude before we take that transition there. We're going to be taking a right turn. I'm going to pop up to 250 knots. 250 is pretty good here. And I'll bring myself over to the right. Now, one thing about the person who modeled this in Flight Sim is they made the roll ultra sensitive. Definitely something, if you have flown this one, you'll know exactly what I mean by that. But no, just get going. Try to keep us somewhat under 250 knots here. I don't want to be too aggressive. There we are. I gotta give it some tap. I know exactly what this plane does. There we go. 250.5. I think that's more than close enough to 250. And again, no auto throttle or anything magic like that. Or moving into the wind here, so our speed's going to change a little bit, but that's all right. And we're just kind of going across. Right there. And we're on course. Beautiful. So we're going to pop up to about 4,000 feet here. We're not going to be going too high for the first start of our journey here. We'll pick up a little bit of speed later on. Like I said, we don't need to do anything. I need to give everybody enough time to kind of rejoin. I noticed somebody is flying an F-104. The F-104 is an interesting choice. Hey, there's everybody. F-104 is an interesting choice because, unfortunately, you're going to have a bit of a range issue here, but that'll be perfectly fine. Oh, I see. We have someone called Dr. Butternips, the TF-104. That's the G version. Great choice of aircraft there. Great choice of aircraft. Hey, why are you not flying the F-16, man? Come on. I think he knows exactly what I mean. All right, so we're going to get a little bit of altitude. For those of you who are DCS fans, this is one of the terrains available at DCS, and I have attacked this piece of terrain more than I care to admit to. It's just an amazing region, lots and lots and lots of stuff to look at, a wide variety of different types of terrain as well. You can take a look here, the way these mountains are kind of laid out, and it's just kind of this beautiful rolling with these little, like, ravines and everything. It's just, in my mind, just such a cool region of the world here. I'm going to tap the gas just a little bit. We got to get up over this little hill here, and we'll go ahead and get up to attack speed once I know that everybody's kind of joined up on us. Welcome back, Butternups. Welcome back, Simon. Welcome back, Ted. So I think Ted today said he was actually going to try to. That's something you see in an F-16 every day. Ted said he was going to give this one a try in the actual VR here. So we'll try not to make him puke too much here. All right, that should be on course. I'm going to put my waypoint to waypoint 1 here, and we'll start making our way up north here. All right, up 4,000. I think we've got our formation together pretty tight here, so I'm not stressing too much. All right, that looks pretty good right there. Alrighty, let's go ahead. That's about 4,000 feet, and we're going to start accelerating. One of the things that's just incredible about this aircraft is, depending on what generation you have, the thrust difference is incredible. You know, right now I've not touched the burners yet. I just basically tapped the gas and asked it to go to the top of mill power here, and it's just like, let's go. But of course, if I want full burner, look at the numbers get bigger. Isn't that incredible? That is just, oh my gosh, that is just ridiculous. You know, I'm a huge fan of the F-104, but oh man, does this thing just go. All right, well, there's about 400. We're doing Mach 0.63 right now, which is pretty good for 4,000 feet, if you ask me. One thing that they did when they modeled this aircraft is they gave us the airshow configuration version. So we don't have a lot of external stores, you know, we don't have an ECM pod hanging off the bottom, we don't have any external fuel tanks, none of that stuff. This is just us, so to speak. As a result, the performance on this thing is ridiculous, plus. All right, 450 knots is looking pretty solid. I'm going to hand fly this one because there is an autopilot on the F-16. It's totally fun to play with, but this one is just like, I don't know, it's so satisfying. All right, so right off of my wing here, look at that big body of water, that lovely lake there. That is the Sea of Galilee. Now, the only reason I even bring that up is because when I was a younger one, I went to Catholic school for many, many years. So when it came to, you know, your biblical history and like the locations and all these kind of regions of the world, this is something you heard about lots and lots. They talked about this, and the Corinthians that, and the Romans, and Lebanon, and Syria, and the desert, and all these other things. And the most fascinating thing for me is, now that I'm kind of grown up a little bit, not completely grown up, is actually visiting these locations and, you know, taking a look around to actually see what this region looks like and being like, you know, when I visualized like the Bible when I was a kid, to me, like this whole region was just one wall of sand and like sand dunes and camels. Like that's what it was for me. But, you know, now that I'm actually here, you know, kind of taking a look around, it's actually pretty lush. You know, it kind of reminds me of like a Greece or something like that. There's actually plenty of room around here that, you know, we had the ability to kind of zip in and out of. And it's just, like I said, not what I expected. Another thing I think of too is as many of you know, Israel has been involved in many conflicts over the years here. And they always talk, it always blew my mind how, like in the 6 Day War, the Yom Kippur War, how, you know, Israel was able to not only, you know, hold the enemies off, but also kind of push them back. But when you fly around, you immediately look at the terrain here going, are you kidding me? You can't invade this with a tank. This would be hopeless. Like, I just don't know how you can manage this, because you'd be dealing with so much terrain, and just, it's rough, and it's the locations, and like, there's a couple key roads once in a while, but it would just be so challenging to try to get in and out of this region, especially with a large force, especially without getting noticed. And like, just pretty impressive. And then if you're dug in, forget it, kind of like that. All right. Kind of take a look around here, just kind of studying what we got. I just love this kind of thing where you have like the little wadis, the little roads that just go through like the little country zones here. One of these days, somebody will make a car simulator instead of a flight simulator that you can drive the entire world, like Microsoft style here. I cannot wait for that game. Cannot wait. By the way, if you want to see something interesting, look up Outterra, O-U-T. They're actually trying to do something similar to that, but it's not going to be quite the same way that this works here. All right, so just a few moments, we're going to be crossing. Actually, we just did. Goodbye, Israel. Welcome, Lebanon. And right off my 12 o'clock here is the Bekaa Valley. Now, the neat thing about the Bekaa Valley is a very interesting strategic location. It is the source of pretty much all of the things that grow for Lebanon, kind of a thing like this. And it's just really a neat region. And one of the things I really got a kick out of is, you know, I read about like the 6 Day War and stuff, and they talk about how many SAM sites were basically located in Lebanon in that valley. And one of the things that always blew my mind is I'm like, That's a lot of SAM sites. How on earth were they able to get in and out of that region without having any difficulty, getting shot down? But it's one of those things that once we pop into the valley itself, you'll see the obvious choice of terrain here for where you should put the SAM versus where they put the SAM sites. Again, it's a surface there. All right, gonna swing this way a little bit. This is so pretty. Aha! Ow, my eyes! I love these little mountain roads, and you can definitely tell that the terrain here is changing. We're definitely entering into another country. So the fascinating thing here, like I said, is the entrance to the valley is just once you go over the top here, it's like a lat. But it's you got to imagine at certain times of day, like when the sun hits just right, how everything will like turn purple. Unfortunately, I seem to have lost my escort. I know they're back there, and sometimes Microsoft has some difficulty uploading data, and unfortunately that works. In a moment, I'm sure they're all going to catch up to me, and they're all going to go, wow, what's going on? Which is perfectly fine, kind of a thing like that. All right, so we're going to sneak into the valley here. Right there. Chaotic here. Nothing excessive. All right. Now, this is the entrance to the valley. Now, one of the things I find so fascinating with this particular region is just how unbelievably flat it is. So, I've done more than one DCS mission there. So we would have like a missile silo right here or something like that. But it's like, why would you do that? Because if you just sit at the bottom of a valley, you're limiting your field of view. Like, if you look right behind me now, there's a bunch of mountains. So if you try to shoot me with a radar right now, you're going to get a lot of that kind of return. Plus, if I wanted to, for a place if I need to get out of here in a hurry. Also, this is an F-16. Let me get the on it. It takes me that long to go ahead and get myself a little bit of coverage. Now I've got myself a valley right here that I can tuck behind. And now I can come right down this valley right here. And we'll kind of hang close to the ground for just a few moments here. I can be risky. Watch my airspeed there. I'm about to pop it. We'll go ahead and pop back out into the valley real quick. Take a peek around. Detect if anybody wants to take pot shots at us. We'll go ahead and go back. Remember, you always want to do positive G. Negative Gs are not very comfortable with the pilot. And then if we wanted to get really, really low in case somebody had decided to take a pot shot at us, we have plenty of trees and buildings to hide. We can just go put ourselves right down here like this at, Mach 1.2. And as long as there's no wires or anything nice and low above the ground here, we should be good. And then when we're done with our attack, we can just go right back on the burner. A little bit of that left foot there. I feel like things are getting quiet, and we step right out of this valley here. And we're just going to pull down nice there, just in case somebody got a radar lock. We're going to flip it back the other way like that. Give it a nice gentle tug. That looks pretty good right there. We're going to flip back over on the top of this valley, come run down this one. We're going to go back to this one right here. Good, yes, I see that we have a G limit. I know what that thing is. I believe that's how many Gs you're supposed to have before bad things happen. Take ourselves around. You can see this time of the year. It's a little bit chilly here. We're just going to run right down here like this. Right there. Give it a second. Check to see if there's anything where it should be. We've got ourselves another valley here. Again, our biggest danger here is always wires. We'll come ripping down that. Flip us around this way. Give that a nice little tug back on the burner. Come ripping through here. Get the crap out of all those pedestrians down there and all the people driving their cars off for work or something along those lines. Nice and low, nice and low. Masking with the terrain. We're going to get a little bit of altitude. Full power. Nothing like a 45-degree climb to make your day a little more interesting. Get a beautiful view of this entire region. Nice. Pop ourselves back over. We're just going to let the momentum carry us right out of this. It sort of looks like I'm flying over the ocean right now, but believe it or not, that's not down, that's up. And we're going to let all the blood kind of rush to my head. Oh, that's uncomfortable. Oh, yeah, there it is. And we're still pulling Mach 1. And we'll go ahead and pop off the burners. Go ahead and loop right around. And then you can see right off our 12 o'clock is Damascus. So this is our capital of Syria. So normally what you can do is you can go ripping through that whole valley there. But it was a little tricky. Definitely don't want to accidentally mangle this aircraft live thing. Plus, this is a pretty cool place. Pop that nose down some more. There we go. You can see right off my 12 o'clock here, this is the presidential palace in Syria, in case anybody's curious. And it's always kind of fun because I look at this thing every time and I'm like, is that a little runway? But when you get a little closer, you realize that there's like a garden, parade grounds, and all sorts of stuff here. but it's always kind of fun to just go ripping by it at high speed here, kind of a thing. All right, go ahead and give it a couple power, and we're just going to kind of make our way downtown here. Welcome to Damascus. Pretty busy. Like, wow, really lots and lots of buildings and a lot of people who live here. So it's super cool to be able to kind of fly over this and just see the density. That's one thing I like about this. Oh my, look at that. Kind of like a Central Park kind of a thing going on here. I'm not going to go between the buildings. If I were in an Apache, I'd fly between the buildings. I'm not going to do that. Right. Nice. Souls off. Good time to go ahead and take a look at our fuel here. So I got, let's see here, 14,000 right now. So I'm doing pretty good. Sucking the view a little bit here. I'm waiting for pull up, because I'm not paying attention like that. Nice. Now this is another thing I find interesting about this region. It's like you get these amazing, like, wow, there's a Manhattan just chilling in the middle of the desert here. And then what I mean by the middle of the desert, so I'm just going to put this back up to the top of the mill here, is watch what happens. Like, you have the outskirts, you have like the suburbs, you have like the little valley. It's a really pretty place. Anyway. And I turn my head, and all of a sudden it gets, still got some roads, I've got some buildings, I have some entrenchment. You can actually see it right off my left wing there. And you go over this hill. Yeah, that's so cool. Just a little more over this hill. And this is what I always thought of this part of the world, what it would look like. You think of like Dune or Arrakis or something like that. It's one of these kind of things where like, like little villages kind of dotting everything. I mean, look at this major highway that just kind of goes right through the middle of everything here with power lines. Yeah, we'll go popping right over the top. Still don't know why Microsoft is not reconnecting me onto the network here. Power just a little bit here, just a little tiny bit of negative. And it just gets quiet. Yeah, they've got this beautiful, you got a lot of agriculture down here, many big farms just sort of hanging out. Obviously, you just saw the size of the city over there. It's impressive, really, at least in my opinion. Right. That's so awesome. Here, I don't want to go so much. Is this gonna work today? Nah, well. Right. So now what we're gonna do is make our way up to Turkey. This is so cool. Imagine getting like a little dune buggy just bouncing across the sand here. A little road right there. I don't know. I find this, like I said, so fascinating. And then you get over the hill here, and like, for those of you who are familiar with like places like Argentina or Chile, look at that. It can almost trick you if it weren't for the fact that we're not up there. Simon, you are not the only person who's lost. I've lost everybody too. I was looking behind me and they're all gone. I have no idea what happened there. It was working fine a second ago. Sometimes the Microsoft servers do silly things. What I can do real fast here is I can just double check. Nope. It says I'm connected. It says I'm connected. It also says I have all players on. I have no idea. It might be some kind of connection issue. It could be something with the new beta. I have no idea. Right, well, let's go ahead and get some altitude and start heading over towards Turkey. Actually, how are we? I got 14,000 pounds. Go ahead and put those up here. Now, one of the things that the F-16 has, the other ones, is you could actually go to your menu option here, and there's a bunch of options that you could actually push. And by pushing them, what it would do is it would create some heads-up display symbology to actually help you climb the aircraft. It would tell you, just where you need to position your airspeed. It would give you an estimation of what altitude that you need to climb at. We kind of have the equivalent of that if I come down here and hit F-pass. You get a couple different pieces of notes here. Information. Obviously, 0.84 is going to give me optimum range there, which we'll take advantage of once we get a little bit higher. Also, 38,000 feet apparently is our ideal height. So what I'm going to do is I notice I'm starting to bleed speed. I'll immediately get myself in about 0 G's here. I'm just going to glide down here. No gravity for me, thanks. That's right. That's a little better right there. 75? Yeah, about 75, 78. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, we're just going to climb right up. Right over my left wing. Just absolute beauty there. Also, apparently the snow just sort of stops. That's okay. You can see the kind of north side of the Beeka Valley there. Neat. Alright, 7's pretty high actually. Cut the throttle. This is not like a regular airplane. It's a fly-by-wire. If I just leave it like this, we're going to keep going until this aircraft actually stalls on me. Start pushing that nose back down. Love floating out of the seat. Read a really interesting memoir in the F-16. One of the things they discussed was every time he would do negative Gs, all the dust in the cockpit that you weren't aware of would just float. So you imagine every time I push down, you got kind of a sound effect as like everything kind of just sort of settles directly on top of you. Gotta love this thing. Literally flying this thing with one finger right now. It's just such a stable aircraft. And that'll be 35,000. I like that. All right. Fluid mode on. One of the problems I've discovered though is that, yep, there it is. That's my mistake. So one of the downsides is they took the autopilot off the F-18. So one of the things that it will do is you'll ask it to autopilot hold, and it'll basically jump onto some altitude that you had like a couple days ago. That was like the last one programmed to do that kind of thing. Right there, right there. Stay there. All right, let's do it. Gonna work? You're gonna try to kill me again. Yep, you're just gonna try to kill me again. Yeah, I'd have to manually tell it what altitude to hold. That's not how it works on an F-16. You just push the button. Whatever, I'll fly by hand, I don't care. Alright. Stay. Nice. Right there, don't move. Cool. So now we're got ourselves a little bit of altitude. Now we're just on the top, where the air is rarefied, by the way, and it's just, you know, there's some pretty atmospheric effects here. I figured it'd be a little hazier this time of year. I mean, it is kind of the spring, so I'd expect it to be a little bit warmer, but I'm not actually sure. I just this would be the point when I was flying a DCS mission where I go ahead and load up my little targeting pod, and if I'm bored, you just sort of like start looking around, like, you know, you move around, little heads-up display, and try to find if there's anything interesting to kind of like look at. You know, kind of, oh, what's this? There's a little village here. And the fun thing is you'd have your targeting pod in the wrong mode. So, of course, what would happen is instead of behaving, what it would do instead is it would simply, like, it locked onto the ground and you couldn't move it around. And you're like, ah! One of the things they did give us in this aircraft, which I thought was pretty cool, is if you actually come here, we don't have an attack radar, which is a shame. But we do have flare. So, believe it or not, you can actually see an interesting simulacrum here. You can actually see there's no clouds or anything in some of the terrain. I think what they did is took kind of the default built-in device here, and all they really did to it was, you know, get rid of the clouds and just kind of change the colors a little bit so that it's kind of like, you know, a fake view sort of thing. I think it's kind of cool. Again, unfortunately for us, it hurts the frame rates a little bit. Carrying anything? No. Situational awareness? No. Image? Whoa, look at that. That's kind of neat. I like that. It's kind of like looking through the airplane sort of a button. For those of you who try this aircraft, by the way, there's a D model where you actually can have somebody sit in the back seat behind you, the voice from the trunk. And what they do is this is the view they get to land with. And it's kind of hard, not going to lie. Oh, yeah, we definitely got ourselves a little bit of altitude here. This is awesome. Absolutely pretty region. You get these little tiny airports here kind of spread around. Crazy here. I think that's Shariat. We're going into Hatay, which is going to be kind of our next waypoint. And then we're going to go take our left turn and make our way up to the airport, the big NATO airbase up in Turkey there. Not bad. We will do a speed run to that point just to see how fast we can actually get this thing up to. My buddy, what he would do is his techniques for getting the airplane back on the ground involve basically maintaining Mach 1.5 until the last left 9G turn responsible for lining us up for a landing on the runway. That's kind of fun. It's definitely a nice technique, but I have my own very dangerous variation. We'll see that when we get a little closer here. All right. That looks good right there. That looks good. Fortunately, the guy who set up my heads-up display, like, got the seating position wrong, so I'm, like, sitting here going, come on. Also, like how it gets the little wibbly-wobblies from the fly-by-wire when you get to high speeds. You'll see what I mean. All right, that looks pretty good right there. We'll shut this one off. More interested in my fuel state anyway. I'm about to be a little rough with this airplane. What do we got? 14? Really? This is 30%. Yeah, that doesn't add up. That doesn't add up at all. No. I've got way less than that. As a matter of fact, I've got about 4,000 pounds left. That's actually not good. That's not a lot. All right, so let's go change to our last waypoint here, and let's do a speed run, as they like to say. I left a little bit here. There we go. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Doing just about Mach 1. There we go, right there. Got 100 nautical miles to go for the next waypoint. I don't think so. Now, one of the coolest things you'll see here is as we, notice how quiet it is? If we go back here. Love it. Just a tiny bit. About 36 grand. Now, this is the point in the flight usually where you get a little warning that appears right here. This is, fuel. This is bingo, bingo, because every F-16 needs to have a little fuel warning right here the entire flight. That's just some kind of, I think it's a software choice or design choice by the people at General Dynamics, where it always has to remind you that you carry fuel, bingo. I think it's interesting that the computer's playing bingo instead of concentrating on telling me how much gas I have left, but oh well, what are you going to do? Let's see here, how are we doing? In range. 52,000 feet, by the way, is my new optimum altitude. 84,000. Well, let's see here, got 2755. Yeah, I got plenty of fuel, no problem. An interesting thing is in F-16 in the real world, you're really not supposed to be able to get much past Mach 1.8. Apparently, it does some bad things to lots of parts of the aircraft, so oh well. There's 1.7, that's close enough. Yeah, back the throttle just a tiny bit. There we go. So, nice. Let's see our current right now. Let's see what our current range Mach. We got 176 nautical miles before we're at 2,000 pounds here. And when we get to waypoint 4, you can see we'll have enough. We'll have enough. It'll be enough. One downside of the F-16, like I was saying earlier, is as amazing as a package it is, one of its traits is not its ability to travel long distance. One thing that I'll take a look at real fast here. Let's see here. I'll set over to cool. Let's see, we got 3221, and I'm burning 13,000 per hour here. 2,200 divided by 1,3200 times 60. I have 14 and a half minutes of fuel right now left. That's it. So it's kind of neat that you can quickly bang out the math. If you, obviously, how many 3s go into 13? You got about 4, so it's about 15 divided by 4. Yeah, about 15 minutes of fuel left. Not bad. Doesn't change the fact of going that fast, though, so I kind of like that part. So neat. We'll be passing into Turkey in just a moment here. Like I said, we'll be passing today is the airport. Of course, when I think of that airport, I always think of Indiana Jones. Kind of one of those things. Nice. This is, of course, normally in a flight, you go up to nav. This would be a good time to come in here and go ahead and set on all your different options as far as ILS and stuff like that. One of the things we do have on here, let's see here, position, monitor, AFCS. I bet you if I go in here and I dial in the correct mode, let's see, AWLS. Interesting. I also appreciate the fact we have an autopilot throttle. There's our problem right there. Now if I activate altitude hold, it'll actually behave. Oh well. Again, on a real F-16, or at least the F-16s that I'm familiar with, we have 2 switches over here for this, and that's the only 2 switches you get for the autopilot. So, I'll take the extra detail. It's just kind of... All right, so we're going to be flying into this airbase. It's a pretty good start. It's at Incirlik. It's a pretty neat airport. You have a couple different runway options on this one. You have 23 and a runway 5 here. If you want to have a little bit of fun on the approach, keep in mind you're going to be hitting it perpendicular when you get there. So when you do get there, you can either take the right turn because there's no wind and take the left, or of course you can break the middle of the runway and do a really, really long right turn and then kind of swing in, which is probably what I'm going to opt to do, but I'm actually going to do the flip when I do my landing there, just because I can. Look at that sun. You got a little bit of that haze there. Really, really well done. And I really wish everybody reappeared. I have no idea why folks disappeared because everything was working perfectly earlier. Oh well. It didn't seem to affect the stream. It just seemed to affect my ability to receive people on the down. Maybe something had changed or there was an aircraft issue that caused that. We've known a few times now when we've attempted to fly certain types of custom planes, it does break multiplayer. My favorite, of course, was the H-146 helicopter. As soon as we did that one, it just died. I left a little bit. I don't know why I'm not getting a bingo warning. It should be. There we go, right there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. There's my bingo. And 23. One of the things I like to do in the real one one, making it these switches, stress switches. If you click this switch here, normally what would happen is you get this would be copied down here. So if you set this to a specific page, you can go ahead and have a nice little kind of duplicate. So you didn't, I know it's like 6 inches and you can just look down, but you would actually have a nice little detailed piece down here so you could kind of study whatever menu you were having, and you just kind of like reach around and bop the buttons rather than trying to attempt to, kind of do one of those, trying to find just the right key that you're looking for. It's kind of neat. Now, unfortunately, we're missing a really, really critical button here, and we're missing the button that puts air-to-air mode. That fills me with sighing. Oh well. So fascinating. Right off our left wing is here today. And then Beirut's going to be back that way a little bit. It's going to be right on the coast. We can't see it too well from the position, but I get the feeling we have to take a turn in a second. All right. Just a little bit. Is it really possible to take the wings off this thing? Oh. All right, let's do it. I look up for half a second, I'm doing Mach 1.8. Whoopsie daisies. Just a little bit. And now it's time to get set up for a landing. It's going to be literally just a quick little hop, skip, and a jump down the landing there. It's not going to take much to put this thing. There we go, right there. We've got 50 nautical miles. It's not going to take us long to get there, that's for sure. Let's see here. It estimates 3 minutes. Not bad. Not bad. Right, just right. That looks good right there. Perfect. Again, I love the fly-by-wire on it. It makes it so much more tolerable. Now we're going to go ahead and pass over some water for a little while. PCS fans, of course, this is always fun to do some zigzag silly stuff through the canyon over here as you're kind of on your missions into Syria. Oh, we did pass Ohms, by the way. I forgot to mention that, but that's okay. We're going to be passing just a second. Just a little bit here. There we go. You can actually see the coast up here already. So we're making some really, really, really good. Now, if we wanted to go Turkey proper, we could go up this way, but that's a particular place. Apparently, on F-16 pilot, you can't stick your head up this far. You kind of get stuck. I believe the little things you hook yourself into the ejection seat gets you about that far in the event that you did need to lean over, so you have to actually disconnect. So, yeah. Unfortunately, in Flight Sim, unlike X-Plane, we don't have an ejection seat. So we can't enjoy that ride. Very fun ride. Some oil tanks there. Right up here in the clouds. I wonder if we're marking. Yeah, we are. I had a feeling. You know what's going to happen, though? I'm finally going to slow down, land this thing, and all of a sudden all the traffic that's been following me this whole flight will suddenly reappear right next to me. That's usually how it goes. This is so cool. 907 knots, true. I'm moving. What are we doing for fuel here? 15%, so nothing. I must have pulled the throttle back at some point, because I'm only doing 8,400 right now. It's okay, though. We need to slow down. Alright, there is the airbase. You'll see it right off the nose. It's this guy right here. So you can not take us that long. Alright, we're going to go ahead and flip ourselves upside down. And we're going to put about half. We want to keep our airspeed up a little bit here. Just a little flipperoo here. I like that right there. I think Mach 1.5 should be more than enough to wake up the neighbors as we pass over. This is Lima Tango Alpha Golf. Gotta watch my airspeed though, because just because you're not exceeding your max Mach doesn't mean you're not exceeding your max indicated. Actually, look between our legs here. I just didn't even tell you. That's no fun. I love the VVI though. Normally on F-16 that's a tape. Look at it. -6. Imagine what my pilot's ears feel like right now. I have about 2,000 pounds. I'm getting a little light here. Great day to land, though. Look at how amazing this is today. This is fun to watch, by the way. One of the things they added is that when you break back out of the speed of sound, you get that bam. There it is. Now, if I ever wanted to cheat, I could put out the speed brakes, but the speed brakes are cheating. There it is. Fortunately, they don't have all the cool hangars. So all those flat buildings are actually these really cool, like ultra heavy duty hardened bunkers. We won't be able to pick any of those here. All right, left base for what is that? Runway 23, I think. All right, let's get some G's in.
Altitude.
There she is. So they said that an F-16 is capable of doing a split S at an altitude of 4,500 feet. So not that I'm in a big rush to find out if that's possible, but let's try it. Nope. That's a whole lot of nope. Oh! Woohoo! Yeehaw! Look at that. That fly-by-wire did not care for that at all. One of the things I learned landing at this airbase is this runway is so long, if you want to actually get to your parking space, you have to actually fly to your parking space. You don't want to just do a normal landing. This is a nice artistic F-16 landing here. We gotta keep the nose up, and we just hold the nose there like show-offs. Just kind of do one of these things for like 2.5 miles here. Try not to drag the boards on the ground like I just did. Apparently that's expensive. All right, nose down. Not bad. Not bad at all. Cool, we're here. Nice plane. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take my exit here. Like I said, if our parking spot was over here on this side, I'd want to use as much runway as possible. Just kind of grab it. All right, unfortunately, I don't think the picture is going to work today. Apologies to everybody. I have no idea what's going on. If there was an internet issue, you wouldn't be able to hear me right now. So I'm not sure what the deal with any of that is. Whee! There we go. And we'll go ahead and taxi off. This is usually the part where I say if anybody has any questions or comments or stuff you'd like to see in other videos, feel free to go toss that over in the chat, kind of a thing like that. So, like I said, we'll see that. Let's see, our final landing weight, by the way, is 1,750. That's nothing. I've landed this plane with like 380. I've had engines cut off on me on the taxiway. It's like, also a fun thing is if you hit the rudder pedals really hard, the plane usually rolls on its side. So that's just a Microsoft Flight Simulator thing. In the real world, you can roll a plane real bad if you weren't careful. All right, so it looks like a pretty good place to park. I'm actually going to park right in there, because why not? Oh, that's got a big old don't park here. X means this is the spot, right? This is definitely marking the correct spot to land at. There we go, right there. Give it a couple taps, couple taps, couple taps. We're here. So normally we take a picture, but unfortunately, like I said, nothing came through. I don't know why it didn't do that today. So, oh well, what are you gonna do, kind of a thing. Let's go ahead and shut this sucker down. Fun thing with this one, we can just do one of those to shut the thing down, but I'm not gonna worry about it too much. Other than that, great flights. I hope everybody enjoyed what we had here. Like I said, nice little ride. Burnt many thousands of pounds of fuel, and we went by several different countries.